What's up guys, Swift here. When I did my realistic expectations video yesterday, I mentioned dropping a video today with some mock drafts based on those realistic trade scenarios. I'm going to walk you through two different mocks where I trade down with the Indianapolis Colts. Then at the end of the video, as a bonus, I'll also show off a couple other mocks for those of you that enjoy seeing them. Let's get right into the first mock draft. So I started this one off by trading down to number 4 overall with the Colts. I got a first rounder in 2024, as well as the number 4, number 35, and number 79 picks, slightly more than I talked about yesterday, but polls managed to drive the price up a bit. After trading down to 4, the board didn't fall the way I expected, as Anderson and Carter went 2 and 3, so I used this situation to trade down again, as the Panthers were ready to come up for CJ Stroud. Moving from 4 to 9, I got a second round pick and a third next year. I could have possibly got more here, but there wasn't as much demand. At number 9, Murphy, Wilson, and Bresee are gone, so I chose to pivot from the defensive line and protect Justin Fields with arguably the best offensive lineman in the draft. I took Peter Skoronski from Northwestern. I think polls may view him as a guard due to his short arms, but he's a plug-and-play left guard who is probably the best interior prospect since Quentin Nelson. Beefing up the offensive line is a top priority this offseason, and in this mock, I focus on the trenches on offense and defense. In the second round, I grabbed 3 defensive line prospects I really like. By moving down to number 9 overall, it gave me 3 picks in the second round. First, I took Notre Dame defensive end Isaiah Foskey, and then Michigan's freak defensive tackle Mazi Smith, and then capped off the round with Ohio State edge rusher Zach Harrison. I used the second round to completely rebuild the defensive line, similar to what Poles did in last year's second round with our secondary when he grabbed Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker. By adding Foskey, Smith, and Harrison, I completely revamp our defensive line, but I do not add a prototypical 3-tech. In this scenario, I'm going with Ryan Poles landing Draymond Jones in free agency to play the 3-tech spot. So our defensive line would feature Foskey, Harrison, and Dominique Robinson at defensive end, with Draymond Jones, Mazi Smith, and Justin Jones on the inside. This is the making of a scary and athletic defensive line that gets after quarterbacks. And then back to the mock draft, I take another offensive lineman in Tennessee's right tackle, Darnell Wright. In this scenario, I do not grab a center. This scenario pulls 2 big free agent adds were center Garrett Bradbury and defensive tackle Draymond Jones. So by adding Skoronski and Darnell Wright, our line would look like this. Braxton Jones at left tackle, Peter Skoronski would play left guard, Garrett Bradbury at center, Tevin Jenkins at right guard, and rookie Darnell Wright at right tackle. Cody Whitehair could stick around depending on Tevin's health. Borum and Leatherwood would battle for the swing tackle spot, possibly with a veteran. This is the making of a solid offensive line that looks way better than what we had this year. Back to the mock again, I add Jack Campbell, linebacker from Iowa at pick 79. This guy would just be a steal this late and pairs perfectly with Jack Sanborn in my opinion. And then I grab LaDainian Tomlinson's nephew, who we just saw in the national championship game, TCU corner Travius Hodges Tomlinson. I love our corner group currently, but this would add another young player and give us even more depth. Late in the draft, I then add Kansas State speedster running back Deuce Vaughn and close the draft out with kicker Jake Moody. Kickers are people too. Santos had some struggles this season, and Poles added punter Trenton Gill late in last season's draft, and I would like to see him possibly bring in a kicker this year. Jake Moody had a big season and showed off his clutch kicking ability and big leg for Michigan. So that is my first mock, and I will walk you through one more, and then I will show off some bonus ones afterwards. For this next mock, I make the exact same trade with the Colts, but this time I stay at number 4, because Jalen Carter is still on the board. There are a lot of narratives going on about Carter right now. It comes down to if Poles and Eberflus think he is the perfect 3-tech. If so, landing him at number 4 could be huge. In the second round, I go with edge rusher Nolan Smith, giving me 2 players from Georgia's dynamic defensive line. And then I switch the focus to the offensive line, taking Minnesota center John Michael Schmitz, Tennessee's right tackle Darnell Wright, and TCU's Steve Avila, 3 straight offensive line picks. This would bring in 3 dynamic players on the offensive line. Avila would challenge Cody Whitehair for the left guard job, or he could play center or right guard as well. Meanwhile, JMS would be our new center, and Darnell Wright would come in and compete for the right tackle spot. With 3 rookies, I would expect a veteran or 2 to be added as well in free agency, but the overall talent on our offensive line and ability to protect Justin Fields would be drastically improved. Back to the mock, I land DJ Turner, Michigan's talented corner, late, and then take 2 shots on intriguing receivers, both Iowa State's Xavier Hutchinson and Virginia's Dontavian Wicks. I'm not sold that receiver is as big of a need as most people think, but Fields can never have too many targets. Both Hutchinson and Wicks have potential to be starters in the NFL, so landing them this late would definitely help out our receiving room. And then again, I couldn't resist taking kicker Jake Moody late. Kickers are people too. This mock again focuses heavy on the trenches early, adding talent to both the defensive and offensive lines, which I believe have to be focuses this offseason. Both lines need more talent and depth. Once again, the special thing about this offseason is flexibility. Ryan Poles has so many different ways to build this roster, and it's a great offseason to do so. I love the talent in this draft and found a lot to like in free agency as well. Let me know what you guys think. I will show off a few more mocks at the end here just for fun. Stay tuned. Please hit that like button for me. And until next time, bear down.